It is the summer of 1754. Conflict has broken out between England and France over the coveted Ohio Valley. The incident sparks a world conflict known as the French and Indian War in America. The fighting spreads to other colonies and to the battlefields of Europe.
The flames of war, once kindled, often spread far and wide, and the mischief is infinite.
For 9 years, colonists fight alongside American Indians and British regulars across the frontier. There, they learn just how much they have grown apart from their countrymen in Britain.
We were treated as slaves, but military soon silenced civil power.
Colonists are in general the dirtiest, most contemptible, cowardly dogs that you can conceive.
Britain emerges victorious in 1763 and gains possession of large portions of the French colonies in North America. Victory comes with a steep cost, nearly doubling the British national debt. Parliament implements a series of taxes, including the Stamp Act, which requires tax stamps on colonial paper.
The colonies must contribute their share. The Stamp Act seems the easiest mode of collecting a considerable sum.
The reaction of the colonists is explosive.
If you comply with the act, you rivet perpetual chains on your unhappy country. To receive them as death is worse than death. It is slavery.
Members of the British Parliament dismiss the protests of the colonists and continue their efforts to raise funds.
All colonies are subject to the dominion of the mother country, whether they are a colony of the freest or the most absolute government.
At the core of the colonists' argument is the idea that the authority of the government lies with the consent of the governed.
It is essential to the freedom of a people and the right of Englishmen that no taxes be imposed on them but with their own consent.
Colonial loyalists think otherwise.
If I must be enslaved, let it be by a king at least, and not by a parcel of upstart, lawless committeemen.
Colonists protest the authority of Parliament with riots, boycotts, and demonstrations.
If the British Parliament are claiming and exercising an unjust authority, we are right in opposing it by every necessary means.
They went to Major James's house and stripped it of every article because he was a friend of the Stamp Act.
It becomes clear that there may not be a path to reconciliation.
There is no longer any room for hope. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
The situation has spiraled out of control. Colonists are mobilizing militias and massing arms and ammunition. British troops occupy Boston as colonists unite in opposition. On April 19, 1775, British troops marched to capture a stash of weapons and ammunition outside of Boston, in the town of Concord, Massachusetts.
The die is now cast. The colonies must either submit or triumph. We must not retreat.
It is the seventh summer of war in America. Year after year, it seems like defeat follows victory. Folly follows fortune. Somehow, this army holds together.
With the French fleet here in New York Harbor, we could free New York City from British occupation under General Clinton.
Je viens tout juste de recevoir une dépêche de l'amiral de la flotte française. Il navigue en direction de la baie de Chesapeake.
Comte Rochambeau has just received a dispatch from the admiral of the French fleet. He says for Chesapeake Bay in Virginia.
We cannot take New York without naval firepower.
Par contre, nous pourrions prendre Lord Cornwallis et son armée à Yorktown, Virginie.
We could take Lord Cornwallis and his army in Yorktown, Virginia. With the French ships at our disposal, if we move most of our combined forces to Virginia, we could catch him in a trap.
My name is Joseph Plum Martin. I joined this army 5 years hence when I was just a boy of 15. Now that the French have arrived, there is hope of stealing a victory against the British.
It's a 400-mile march in the dead of summer. A lot to ask of men weary from 6 years of war. However, if we leave 2,000 men here in New York to conceal our movement south, we may be able to strike before relief arrives. We march to Virginia. The British will send a fleet once word of your movements reach New York. Your Navy must hold the Chesapeake.
British fleets engage in battle off the Virginia Capes. In less than 6 hours, over 400 men are killed and wounded, and several ships are severely damaged. The British ships withdraw. Cornwallis is sealed in by sea.
General Clinton, I have just received word of heavy enemy troop movement towards our position. If relief arrives in short order, I am confident that Yorktown will remain in the possession of His Majesty.
We arrive in York to discover Cornwallis has fortified within. Our only option is to besiege him. We dig day and night while our artillery hammers away at their defense. One spot is as good as another as we labor in the trenches. Some with their families close by.
Hot coffee for now, unless we're going to go cold again.
Heavens, madam! You're not afraid of the cannonballs?
No. Afraid of the bullet or the gallows, but not too for the men to fight and starve too. I'll give as good as anyone might.
Surrounded now by land and by sea, Cornwallis' supplies begin to run short. He casts out hundreds of slaves whom he had promised freedom in return for their labor. They are captured wandering across the battlefields and in the woods nearby. It's a sure sign of Cornwallis' growing desperation.
General Clinton, the American batteries are within 300 yards of our fortifications. We continue firing without intermission. We have lost 70 of our men, and our works are considerably damaged. I anxiously await your reinforcement.
After 17 days of digging, we have reached an impasse. 2 fortifications stand in the way of completing our siege lines. Taking redoubts 9 and 10 will allow our batteries to advance within deadly range of York. It is a sight A select group of infantry will take these redoubts by storm. The French will take 9, and the Americans 10. On the signal, we silently move towards their works, muskets unloaded. We sappers and miners are furnished with axes and are charged with cutting away a passage for the troops. Redoubt 10 safely in our hands, we look on as the French seize Redoubt 9. Cornwallis may now tremble for his fate, for nothing but his guardian angels seem capable of saving him and his whole army from captivity. We are now able to bring all of our guns to bear on York. Cornwallis attempts to escape across the York River. That night, a storm rolls along the coast.
General Clinton, my situation here becomes very critical. The safety of this place is so precarious.
We cannot cross the York River. Quarters, it is too rough.
But I cannot recommend that the fleet and army should run great risk in endeavoring to save us.
It was their last best hope. Their fate is sealed. On the 17th day of October, our guns opened with a furious cannonade, but fall silent as Cornwallis requests a ceasefire. After 2 days, terms are agreed upon, and the British troops surrender their arms. Cornwallis's defeat at Yorktown is a disastrous blow to the British Army, prompting the King to begin peace negotiations. Although we declared our independence 5 years earlier, it is this victory at Yorktown, Virginia, that secures the birth of our independent and free country.
Like a silly girl, I forgot to record a finish on this video or a wrap-up video. So I'm going to do that now. We visited the American Revolution Museum here in Yorktown on our trip to Williamsburg, Virginia, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was a little drizzly during the day, so we did not get to experience all that this place has to offer, but I would definitely suggest if you're planning a trip to Williamsburg to definitely hit this up. There is a lot of things to see and a lot of things to do. Lots of movies and videos to see, and I'm very much a visual learner. I love reading about history, but I do so much better when I can just watch something and soak it all in. So definitely had many opportunities for that here. The biggest, I guess, takeaway from this was the general stars from George Washington's lapel of his coat jacket were there, or at least one of them was, and that was really exciting to see. Something that old definitely sitting there for that long, pretty magnificent. There were lots of outdoor spaces for the kids to play and enjoy some like history lessons, but we didn't get to see that on this day because, like I said, it was a little drizzly. But definitely look into this American Revolution Museum if you're visiting Williamsburg and you want to go over to Yorktown. Very cool place. Lots of things to see and do. So until next time, friends, I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough of this place, and we'll see you soon.